All right, so today we're so excited because we have a graduate of Mountain Point Academy with us. So we're so excited to talk with her and hear about her journey. So thank you for joining us today, Peyton.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited to hear all about your journey and how it went for you. So, just to get started, can you kind of tell us a little bit about your academic high school journey?
So I was always a pretty good student. Um, I usually kept up pretty well with my grades, and I wasn't even thinking about doing online school at all until I went to residential treatment. And while I was there, I heard that I could possibly graduate early, which I was really excited about. And so I talked to Sarah, and she pretty much just told me what classes I needed to take in order to graduate early. And it was only like a few credits. And that put me in a pretty good position because I wasn't very happy with my school and I had another year left. But with Mountain Point Academy, I was able to graduate early and I never even had to go back to that school. So I had a very great experience.
That's awesome. So comparing, you had maybe some struggles at your previous school. What were some of the biggest hurdles you had at a brick and mortar school? And how was that different in an online school? Because there might be students that really struggle with online school, and it's the
Yeah,
opposite.
this is true. Um, so my school is a little different. If you imagine igloos, that's pretty much what it was. Just starting with the building, like there was no windows. It was an igloo. Um, it was. I live in a small town, so the amount of kids in the school was probably like 800 for all four grades.
Oh, wow.
Um, and so my struggles were that there were limited friend options, and being in like the high school like culture, you're like, oh, I have to have friends,
Yeah.
whether they're good or bad. So, and I didn't very I I didn't really have good friends, I guess. So being stuck in that situation, added on top with like the stress of school and that I didn't really have very good teachers either. We had limited teachers because there's limited people, so
Yeah.
they just hire whoever. And so yeah. And then Mountain Point Academy came and I thought it was great because I got to get out of that toxic situation and I could work at my own pace. So I could have graduated even earlier if I wanted to, but I was just doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So do what you want to do, doing what you want to do. Tell us a little bit about that. Like, what are some of the things you had more time to do because you weren't in school for 8 hours a day? I know you mentioned you were in residential for a bit, working on your mental health. That's something that's huge now.
Yeah.
Like everyone struggles with that, so it's great that you had a chance to do that. Just tell us a little bit about some of those things that you were able to do with some of your spare time.
So after I got out of residential treatment, I kept in contact with one of my good friends. And so I was able to spend more time with her instead of just going to school and then coming home. Because before, she lived in a different city and I never got to see her. And I felt like the one good friend that I had wasn't really my friend anymore. So after I got out, I was able to travel more and spend time with her because I could just do my schoolwork at her house.
Yeah.
And so we became even closer than we already were. I was also able to spend more time with my boyfriend, which was really nice. I could pursue more hobbies. I could sleep in if I wanted to. I didn't have to wake up.
That's a big one.
Bonus.
Yeah.
I know. I think there was a time where I got up at 2 in the afternoon and I was like, oh my God. But I mean, I still got all my classes done. So
Well, that's awesome. And I love that, the first couple things you mentioned were like cultivating relationships that were in your life and how kind of being able to set your own schedule was able to free up the space to make better connections and relationships. And that's something that we're huge on at Mountain Point Academy, which is why we instituted kind of that academic mentor role where students can FaceTime with their mentor every week. And so, your experience with that, how did having that academic mentor one on one contact weekly, how did that help you in your academic journey?
I thought it was really nice. So being with Mountain Point Academy, you're just kind of doing videos. And I was kind of a little confused how it all worked because I mean, I would watch videos with teachers and I had no idea who the teachers were. But then when I got to FaceTime with Sarah and like talk to her about what I was doing, it kind of made everything be like, okay, so I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. And sometimes I felt really bad because I would just completely miss it. And then she'd be like, I was on, and I'd be like, oh my God. I don't know how long you were waiting for me, but I was not coming.
Part of that
was one of those days maybe that you were sleeping in till 2, right? Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Too funny. Awesome. Well, so it sounds like it just was able to kind of be that extra level of support, kind of help give that encouragement that you were on the right track and that you were doing the things you were supposed to be doing. So
I'm not sure how it works with other people because I know I'm more of a right-brained, okay, so this is what I do, then I do it. So working at my own pace was kind of a little like weird, but I got used to it. And then after when I would face or have the meeting with Sarah, it'd be like, okay, so I'm doing fine. And so everything's fine. And it was kind of reassuring.
Yeah, you were a rock star. You did great.
You did.
So. Thank you.
Well, and that takes a lot of like that inner intrinsic motivation for you to like put yourself in that position of wanting to graduate early, going at your own pace and kind of driving yourself, right? So for maybe those students who don't have that kind of drive or that intrinsic motivation within themselves, what advice would you give for them if they are wanting to accelerate their learning and maybe graduate early?
I would say it would be really good to talk to your mentor about so Sarah would set like goals, I guess. I forgot what the word was, but it would be like a specific amount of time every day that you're working on a class. And I would say that the best thing to do would be to talk with your mentor about the correct amount of time that you should be working on every day. And if you do complete that every day, then you get a little reward. But I really liked that there wasn't any like docked points off of your grade when you don't do it. That I thought that was amazing. Because then sometimes I wouldn't be able to meet those goals and I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe that I didn't do that. Now it's going to be like an F. But in reality, she would just reset it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's work at your own pace. Like when we set goals with you, when I set goals with you, it was geared toward what you were trying to accomplish. And we'd involve your family too. We involve your parents and make sure we're all on the same page. And goals change, targets change, real life happens sometimes. Yeah. And so it's great that it can be work at your own pace, yet we still want to keep you on track for what you're trying to do in the long term. And week to week, might be up and down, but in the end, you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. You graduated on time. You graduated early, in fact. And then you could look forward to your next steps. So I know we talked a little bit back when you were still enrolled on what you were trying to do in the future, but can you tell us a little bit about what your goals are now that you have graduated and where you're trying to go?
So now that I've graduated, I got a full-time job at a title company. So pretty much what I'm doing right now is when people buy houses, I deal a lot with their money and their loans and stuff like that. And I don't think that's going to be a permanent thing for me, but I'm pretty proud of myself for getting that job.
Awesome.
And I start community college. Sorry, I start community college in the fall. So I'm going to be studying criminal investigation stuff. I did a couple of scholarships. I haven't heard anything back from them other than the CWI honor scholarship one. So that's pretty cool. It's not very big, but I mean it's something.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so was college kind of always in your plans? And so being able to graduate high school early just kind of accelerated that plan, or how does that work?
I'm not sure if it really accelerated that plan because I'm going to be starting in the fall. So either way, if I graduated on time, I think I would have still started in the fall. But graduating early gave me more time to be free of school. So that's pretty nice. Yeah. It gave me more time to save up a little bit more money because I could work more.
So it kind of
there was some if college was always on my agenda. Yeah. I'm not sure if I actually need it because the other girls who work at the title company with me, they said that they all started out as receptionists and now they're like the owner of that branch. So who knows where life is going right now.
You have options. So criminal justice, I mean, when we talked last, you were talking maybe like FBI type of job and stuff like that.
I think that would be really cool still. Yeah. I still really want to do that. But I mean, I've heard a lot of adults say that you never know where life takes you. So I have goals, but I mean, who knows where it's going to go?
Yeah, for sure.
I started off college to be a marine biologist, and now I co-founded an online school. So you never know where life is going to take you, but you're just kind of along for the ride. And it sounds like you have the foundational skills with an awesome job at a title company. Like, kudos to you, because I don't know that I'd be able to keep all that information straight. Documents and signing, and that's a process to buy a house.
Yeah, it's a lot. Definitely. I'm definitely still in the beginning stages of everything. Right now, the only thing I'm in charge of is opening orders, and that takes about 30 minutes. So
start somewhere.
Exactly. And every step is vital, especially with all of that, because it is a process. Yeah. So that's awesome. Well, we don't want to take up too much of your time, Peyton, but just any parting words of advice that you have for high school students who maybe are looking at doing an online school?
I know everything with COVID that happened kind of gave online school a bad rap because everyone's saying that you can't learn anything with online school and that because no one's making you do it, you don't do anything. But with Mountain Point Academy, if you don't do your work, you're not going to get punished, but you're also not going to move forward. And I think moving forward is one of the most important things in life, because if you're not moving forward, you're just wasting time, and time is precious. So even if it's hard, I think everyone should try and keep going. Maybe do one thing a day. If it's not everything you need to do, at least one thing. And eventually you'll get to the point where you won't have to worry about school anymore. And that's kind of the main goal here. So.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Yes, awesome.
Good advice, Peyton. And we have a lot of students right now that are in the same boat that you've been in, struggling with maybe the current situation, not loving the public school that they're in, or the current brick and mortar school they're in, or maybe they're in residential at this moment and not sure what the future is going to hold. And you are a perfect example of somebody who's been there, has gotten through it, has succeeded, and like you said, you're moving forward. You're just taking the next steps. Whatever life's throwing at you, you're handling it and you're doing an amazing job. So
Yeah. And another important thing I want to tell people is that like you really only need to take one thing at a time. Like it might seem like you have so many things that you need to do, but as long as you're doing one thing at a time, eventually everything will get done.
Totally. I love that. I think that's good advice for adults too, because we all have our endless to-do lists that can feel a little overwhelming. And if we just look at it as, okay, I got this one thing done today, tomorrow I can do this next thing, right? And just taking it one step at a time, those baby steps. And I think that's great advice. And you're an inspiration to us all, Peyton. I love
Thank
that
you.
you're succeeding and you have great advice for other students. And yeah, we're just excited for, someone who's recently been there to share with our audience, because they can hear it from us, but it's great to have a student's perspective who's been there, done it, you've graduated, and now you're on to those next steps. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
and
Yeah,
we're
thank
super
you.
proud of you, Peyton.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes, you killed it. So we're excited that you were able to attend our school and that it was a good thing for you and that you're doing awesome things now. So, and best of luck
Yeah, of course.
college in the fall.
Yeah, thank you. I just thought of one more thing. So because your guys' school is kind of smaller, you can pay more attention to the students. And I think that's a really big thing too. Because when I first started your school, I was thinking it was like some like national thing. But like you guys actually remembered the things that I told you. And when I graduated, you like even sent me a little gift. I was like, this is amazing. So just the fact that you guys actually pay attention is pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
Something that's always been important to us from the beginning, from the day one when we founded the school, is we've been in online education working for other schools that maybe offer something similar, a similar service, but the difference is that we don't treat you guys like you're just a number, just a part of the student body. And we've grown actually a ton since even the point that you've graduated. We're constantly growing, which is huge. Word of mouth has been great for us. But we never want to lose sight of that. And each student that attends here is an individual person that we care about and we want to see you succeed. And we feel invested in your life and what you're doing. And so it's awesome that you noticed that, because that's what we strive for. So that's really cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I noticed it pretty like big actually, because I came from a school where they knew who you were, but they also didn't care, which almost made it worse. Because like my school that I went to in person, it was small, but no one cared. And when I transitioned into online, I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, now it's just an online school. But I noticed that you guys actually like paid attention to the stuff I told you. So it meant a lot.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we appreciate that feedback. Yeah, like Sarah said, that's part of our goal and our hope, and that's part of the reason why we founded the school, because we did notice that students were more and more just becoming a number, and you didn't know anything about them, and you didn't feel like they were invested in your learning, and we wanted to have that feeling of connection and having connected learning, because it's so easy in the online space to feel disconnected. And so we're happy that our efforts have helped students. So thank you for that feedback.
Yeah, and sorry for just throwing that out there. It came to me like right at the very end. I was like, wait.
Yeah,
no worries. Anything else that is coming to you, because we can go on. If you have more that you want to share with our student body, with our listeners, feel free, or we can always schedule a follow-up interview with you at another time to check in and see how things are going in your career and in your life.
Yeah, I would be fine with a follow-up interview. It's really up to you guys. And I can't think of anything other than you guys are doing a great job. And all the students are probably doing a great job too. I haven't talked to any of them though. So
Well, I think that's part of the key is like students and the motivation. And so having that drive and the motivation to succeed, I think is what's going to help students as well. So if you have a goal, set those goals with your mentor and keep at it. Like you said, like Peyton said, just the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, right? Just take those baby steps and you don't have to do everything.
yeah. And when setting goals, they could seem overwhelming, and which might make
Oops, I think we lost you. Oh, I think we lost her. We lost you for a second.
I know. I don't know what happened. My mom
Technology.
started her car downstairs, so it might have connected to that and then made stuff weird. But
Yeah, no worries.
did the recording get lost?
No,
Nope.
we still got it. We can
good.
edit it to remove that part. But you were talking about goals, and then we lost you.
Yeah.
Oh, I was saying that it's happened to me where I've set a goal and I didn't follow through with it at all because it just seemed too overwhelming, and I was like, it's better to just not do anything than fail. But that's not true, and I hope everyone works their way out of that mindset, because you can fail and you can maybe get behind, but it's just really important to keep moving forward as best as you can.
Yes.
That's great advice. I love that.
Yeah. And I think as a society, we need to start seeing the failures as the learning experiences and not just, oh, I failed, so therefore I am a failure, right? Because those failures don't define who we are. They're just learning experiences to help us out.
Exactly. And I don't think there's not very much learning being done without failure.
So true. Wise beyond
Wisdom.
I always think of the story about like, well, what if Michael Jordan had given up when he got cut from his high school basketball team? Michael Jordan, like he failed and then look at where he ended up, right? So it teaches those lessons.
And I don't think that lesson is very, I don't know, it's not very well taught in the school system, I think, because if you fail, then you fail. But I didn't realize, I guess I didn't really learn that lesson until I got into the work field, when I would mess up, but I wouldn't have known not to do that unless I did it, I guess. So, because there's so much stuff to be taught that like no one can do, like teach you every single thing. Like you have to mess up and then they're like, oh yeah, so this is actually how you're supposed to do that. Sorry about that. And I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I'll just do it better next time then.
And you're just constantly learning.
Yeah.
You learn more. I think you learn more when you have mess ups or failures or whatever you want to call them.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's the mindset. You can either take it and use it as a learning experience or give up. So you choose, right? You get to choose.
You do get to choose.
Yes. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much, Peyton. We hope you have a great...
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
thank you.
Keep us posted on how it's going. Maybe we'll schedule a follow-up in the future.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know.
Sounds good.
We will. Thanks, Peyton.
Of course. You guys have a good rest of your night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.